up, I was athletic. I never had to really worry about what I ate. I always out exercised the nutrition, so to speak. As I got older, that obviously wasn't happening anymore. So, I've had friends and family and been on diets, right? I mean, the keto, the paleo, the Atkins diet that was real popular several years ago. Other, low fat diets and things like that over the years. And I watched them always yo-yo in the weight. So I never bothered because I was like, yeah, I know what happens on those. You lose a ton of weight and then it comes back, right? But I never took time to educate and learn the basic foundations of nutrition to change that, right? So coming into this, I was like, all right, I got to find something a little bit different because I don't want to just go on a diet. Because okay, so what if I lose some weight? Big deal. I'll probably gain it back and maybe even more. So I went on the internet, started searching and just Googling anything and everything. Specifically, though, I started targeting words like, men over 50, metabolism. And I don't really knew what drew me to that necessarily as far as the metabolism pieces. But I was looking around and then I found a video that you had posted. It was, I don't know, a minute and a half long. I was like, all right. What really attracted it to me was the Fit Father project logo, because it has that military look to it a little bit, right? And at first I thought it was actually Wounded Warrior project type kind of look, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, well, this is interesting. I'll click on this and see what it is. So I clicked on it and you came on and introduced yourself and you walked through just a quick scenario that basically said three things that stuck with me. And that was, there's no magic pill. I knew that. So I'm like, all right. The second one was, it does take work. I'm like, yes, I definitely acknowledge that. And the third one is, you're not going to out exercise bad nutrition, right? And I'm like, yes, I inherently inside I knew these, but no one had ever actually said, I've got a program that addresses these three main areas, right? Most of the gimmicks in the world are a quick fix around one of those three or maybe two, right?
Truly, yeah.
So I was like, all right, let me dig a little bit further into this. So then I went to the website and started reading the front material, watching some more of your videos. Saw where hey, here, join money back guarantee. I was like, well, okay, you can't go wrong with the money back guarantee. The entry price, I mean, realistically, I mean, compared to all things in life, the price of the program is minuscule, right? I mean, you spend more than that on a good night of binge drinking in college,
right? We like to keep it that way, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I looked at it from that perspective and said, okay, well, look, I don't know much about this program. I like what I've seen, Dr. Baljusi say, so I'll give it a shot. And then I jumped in, and again, I already had the mindset going. Now I was putting the tangible to the intangible, right?
Yeah.
And once I got into the program, I found out and discovered very quickly early on, just absorb and read it all. Watch all the videos, write notes. I mean, you say in the videos, take some notes, write some things down. And I started doing that, and that's how I started piecing it all together.
Now, for guys who aren't familiar with our Fit Father program, but are familiar with the idea that you found some kind of system with your nutrition, with your exercise that you were going to try, and you had some trust that we might be the guys to help you achieve something that was really meaningful at this point in your life. What kind of changes did you make in your first few weeks to what you were actually eating, how you were moving your body? Like, what was the beginning phase of the plan for you?
All right. So for me, I went through all the setup steps, and as you prescribed them in the site. I read all the PDFs, and in there you were highlighting things like, start meal prepping so you make better decisions. Certain meal plans that you have spelled out, right? I was like, all right, I'm going to follow this to the T. And I did. I followed every bit of it, right? So I started ordering specific protein. I started ordering a scale so I could actually see, what does 8 ounces of chicken really look like, right? What is, half a cup of brown rice look like, as opposed to mountains of piles that we get used to consuming in our culture, right? So that was for me, the first stages was just the setup, right? Getting the bits and pieces of the meal plan, the ingredients for the meal plans, the supplements as far as for the protein, On the exercise piece, obviously the first entry, and guys that are new to the program will learn to love to hate it, and that's the Apex 10.
Yeah, that's the workout we use in the first phase of our Fit Father program. Yeah.
Exactly, the real metabolic boosting workout, right? So for me, that was a shift fundamentally in exercise, right? Because I historically had grown up that you do cardio, which is running or cycling or and high volumes of that to the point of body fatigue, pretty much. And the second one was always strength building, right?
Yeah.
So it's chest day, back day, legs day, and you're in the gym 3 hours at a pop, 6 days a week, right?
Yeah.
Because that's what we did in the Army. That's the way I was trained. So I'd gotten away from that, obviously, in life, which is why I'd packed on the pounds and poor nutrition and everything else. But switching that mindset to say, really, there's an exercise I can do in 30 minutes, 45 minutes at most, that's a full body workout. And at first I didn't believe it. I'm like, oh, this Apex 10 thing, really? Come on. I go up to 10 and back down. So highly underestimated that. So that was a big shift for me, was the full body workout. So yeah, I mean, I started doing those. Even to this day, I can go and do the Apex 10, and I don't think I've ever done one that's I would consider perfect, right? I mean, there's always either up the weight, so now the form goes out, or I don't have enough weight, and so the form's good, but then at the end, maybe I'm not as challenged as I could have been. It took a while to balance all of that. There was a saying that you use in one of your videos, which is "There's no shame in the game." Right, and that one resonated with me as well too, because I had to break my own ego. Because of course I wanted to be 21 years old again and do it like I did it then. And I realized very quickly that at 50, you don't have to be perfect, right? And okay, so I did push-ups for my knees. So what? I did a lot of push-ups for my knees the first 6 months in this program. I did a lot of renegade rows, taking breaks in between, right? I couldn't do 10 with each arm consecutively, right? I was just out of shape, and more importantly, my body just wasn't used to that kind of movement, because it had been 15 years since I'd done any of it, right? So that was a big shift for me, was the adoption of a whole different mindset for how to exercise as you get older, right? And now I look back, I'm like, I wish I had this when I was 40, not 50.
Yeah, so well said. I want to pause you there for a second, Lee, because I think you said a couple really important things that I just want to emphasize. The first one, when I asked you the question, what did you start doing? How did your plan start? You want to lose some weight. You're 50. And at the time, the first thing you said is you started following a structured nutrition plan. So you answered a series of questions in your life. The question is, what kind of healthy foods do I love? What are my go-to protein foods? When am I eating my meals? Do I have some kind of structure to that? So this is the kind of structure and systems we talk about on this podcast, is you got to get those in place. Now, we gave Lee after he purchased our program, we gave him the Fit Father meal plan. So he had everything to follow to a T, but regardless if you're following that or something else, you need to get these initial structure things in place so that the habit has the skeleton to start to build. Number two, Lee, you talked about exercise. You basically said that the way you used to train when you were in the Army in your 20s and 30s, basically bodybuilding, high frequency, slamming in the gym with the iron. And then naturally that stopped because of life, of family, of changes. So the 6 days a week turned into 3 to 2 to 0, and then you stopped moving your body. Yep. And so then all that you thought you knew was this old style of exercise. And then you just knew there was cardio over here. But what we introduced you to is this idea that you can do these, we call them metabolic resistance training workouts, MRT workouts. It's like a combination of the strength training movements that you need to be strong as you age, the squats, the rows, the bench press, the shoulder press, the swings, foundational movements. Like, we need to be able to move our body strongly in space as we age. We taught you to do those in a circuit fashion that not only challenges you, get your metabolism roaring, your energy roaring, but mentally it still challenges you and invigorates you to today. And Leah, I know you are at your core a fighting man. You have a fighting spirit, and it's been amazing for me to also watch you through this program ignite that in the competition with yourself. And I think that's how you've done that consistently to lose over 100 pounds.